together who are dealing with technology. And we had this happen just this week, with the Tech Alpharetta group that I work with. And very quickly, you start swapping discussion about the different tools, the different elements that are possible to bring together, because all of them are advancing in AI. So think about in your journey, think about the kinds of things that maybe you're already using. We focused last time on HubSpot and Salesforce as examples, because they are investing very deeply in building out capability. But there's several different kinds of avenues you can explore with other kinds of tools, especially where entrepreneurs or smaller companies are starting to innovate and sort of break down some.
I think, again, it goes back to, keeping up with the Joneses is only a piece of your business. I look at it a couple different ways. One is that for AI to really be impactful, you need to understand where you are and what your technology gap is with respect to your own business. And that's straightforward. But if you have clients and you're trying to, elevate your conversation with clients, it's the same thing. You just have to go back to those foundational practices. And then it becomes, how do you keep up? So, this week, ChatGPT made available its 0.1 version, which has more active reasoning, more thoughtfulness into how it handles prompts. And you can actually start testing that because they've opened it up to the public. But if you're in the private groups, you have a little more visibility into how it's working and some of the reasoning that it's applying. Do I need to keep up with that as part of my day-to-day? No, but I want to stay ahead of it because I want to be able to tell the client, oh yeah, I see what's coming down the road. Our job as consultants is often to be the futurists and to be able to say, here's where we're going to be in 6 months. So I tend to look at things, here's where it is today, here's what I understand today, and I may only go down 1 level or 2 levels deep into my understanding today, where I focus more of my concentration on going deeper into what's coming, because I want to be able to anticipate the changes that are going to be on the way.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Ken. How many of you, just raise your hand or speak up if you have used the new 01?
It just continues to, no matter what I'm using, Zapier is, the costing model is interesting. In that they monetize the access through their API, which is fine. But I constantly am getting dinged on charges, and I have to figure out a way to put in a monitor for them, so that I can control it when it gets too high to the threshold or adjust it. That's the only comment. And other than that, I think that some of the other tools that have come out have surpassed Zapier in capabilities. So it may be on the lagging end of technology advances.
Okay, Sherry?
I absolutely agree with what Ken said, and it depends on the depth of the workflows that you're really trying to connect. Because I think it was the Zaps were really a great thing when there weren't that many options to connect APIs, and we didn't have such an open and permissive structure. But there are many things that, especially the monetization structure, that are prohibitive, because you really do have to be careful how many workflows and how repetitive those workflows can get. So one of the things that's very common nowadays, and I think, Lee, you've touched on it a few times, even today, chaining and making sure that you have repetitive or recursive processes. That can get very expensive when you have the Zaps in the middle. There's also quite a bit of flexibility for custom coding inside a Zap, but again, that we struggled actually with that in the last project I used it on, because the structure and some of the more rigid structures of the Zaps often conflict or could conflict with the custom work that you're trying to do. So, I think it's a great idea. And if you're truly using very limited Zaps and no code, truly able to use their structure in the no code, I think it's a wonderful option. If you're going to have a lot more involved in your data flows and in your workflows in general, I would move away. You might want to start with Zaps, but I would move away from it over time into more sophisticated and more functional types of capabilities. And that's what our intent was, because we were trying to apply 2 outcomes from generative AI. We were trying to apply rules, and that became very cumbersome. So again, once you get more sophisticated and you really have dependencies on both data flow and workflows, I think you need to graduate from using Zaps as a constant. They may evolve though, so stay tuned, because that's not always an absolute, right? Because, the market is shifting to more sophisticated